Last episode, I told you your real moat is the trust that you've already built, not the number of products that you sell. But knowing that doesn't make that fear of it all going away suddenly shut up. Mine still whispers in, weekly, if not daily. What if a line that I depend on just dried up? What if that thing that's working now stops working? 9 years in, and that voice has never taken a day off. So this one is about what to actually do with that fear. Because here's what I finally accepted. You don't get the fear down to zero. It's never going to go away. Instead, you give it a job. Let's find out what that job is coming up. Thanks for watching today. I'm Diego, Diego. Welcome to Modern Grower, where we talk about running a profitable farm business, not just a farm. This is my Seeding Thoughts series. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. The mistake that I made for years was treating the fear like a feeling that had to be managed. Breathe. Think positive. Remind yourself you're fine. None of it worked, and I just couldn't understand why. It didn't work because that fear isn't really a feeling. It's this unmade decision running in the background on a loop. Here's what I mean. Most of the chronic founder dread is one specific thing, a contingency that you've never actually decided, that question that's out there, but you don't know the answer to. Some part of you knows, you know that you've never sat down and honestly confronted and answered that question. What would I do if a bad thing happened to my business? And your brain just can't let an open question like that go, so it keeps it the only way it knows how, by just keeping you anxious, running around in the background. The anxiety is just a yellow sticky note that says, you still haven't dealt with this. That's why no amount of meditation, deep breathing, or calming down ever fixes it. For me, I was trying to soothe a feeling when it was actually just an unanswered question sitting there. Given this, the move isn't to calm down. The move is to close the question in advance. Take the fear that I carry, that one that my main lines could suddenly dry up, fall off. And instead of holding that inside 24/7 and just running that question, what if this happens? What if this happens? I turn it into two things on paper, a tripwire and a pre-made decision. The tripwire is a number to watch. If the line drops past a certain point for long enough, that's clearly a trend, not a bad month. That's the line in the sand, and you react. And the pre-made decision is exactly what you do the moment that that trips. I used to work in finance and think of this like a stop-loss order. When a stock goes below a certain price, triggers, the stock sells. No action required on your part. It does it automatically. No mental decision, because I can tell you one thing from talking to years and years of investors. People make bad decisions, one, when they're under pressure, and two, when money's at stake. We tend to get emotional instead of being rational. That's why this tripwire and pre-made decision really can work and try and get that loop to stop or at least calm down. The way this works for me is I have a plan. If the plan triggers, then I know I'm not deciding on panic. I'm just executing on pre-made decisions. That's the whole key. You're trying to remove the instantaneousness of deciding what happens if it does hit the fan, while also preventing that loop from just continuing in the back of your head. And this is what I've noticed when you start to quantify this, and when it exists on paper or on a computer, the trigger and the response, that is, the due diligence, the vigilance gets handed off. You don't have to feel watchful anymore because the spreadsheet is watching for you. You just check the spreadsheet accordingly. That's why you put a lock on your front door. At night, if you're sleeping and you live in a dangerous neighborhood, you didn't have a lock, you'd probably be nervous all night and wouldn't have a great sleep, thinking somebody's going to come through the front door. Instead, you lock the door, and hopefully that's good enough for your neighborhood. If not, and what type of neighborhood are you living in? But that lock gives you peace of mind, enabling you to rest. That's what this trigger decision plan does. And that protection, that is the difference between fear that protects you and fear that just taxes you. The first kind is the tripwire, the door lock. The second kind is always on, no lock on the door. Now, I realize this isn't easy, and here's why it's hard and why we'll often reach for the wrong thing instead. Meaning, we have fear, we want to solve the fear. Building something, doing something feels like discharging fear. When you're scared the main thing might go, starting a new thing feels like protection. It's building that proverbial safety net. It feels like I'm moving, I'm doing something about the situation. And it's seductively precise because it works emotionally. You feel good. I'm moving towards progress. The net is being put up. But it only feels that way for about a week or so. Then you've got 2.5 things to build and twice the anxiety. After all, once you start that thing, you have to keep that thing going. And then what if you start worrying about if that thing you built is your original safety net? What if that falls apart? Now that safety net to catch you was something else to worry about. And that's the safety costume from episode 1. And I've worn that and used that my whole career. The conference, that mead company that I talked about. Every next thing that I reached for when I got a little nervous was me trying to discharge the fear by building something that would protect me. But when building was never the right path. Anyway, it's not what the fear needed because there's just far cheaper versions of that exact relief and it costs almost nothing. You don't build backup businesses. You just confirm you could. I'm worried about my thing failing. I want to build a safety net in the form of another business. Choice A is I build it. Choice B is we explore it. That's what we're going to talk about here. This is the path that costs almost nothing. It's easy. You can do it in an afternoon, about 2 hours. You price it out. Make sure the option's real. You vet it. You figure out if that door is actually open. Is it a viable opportunity? Then you write it down on paper, put it in a note. You don't launch it. You just shelve it. It's the backup plan, sitting in a document, ready to go. That way you have an option that you've priced and shelved, and it helps quell the fear. If this thing falls apart, I guess I could always go into that folder and find one of those ideas to pursue. It's mostly free, doesn't cost you a lot of time, no money, but the fear gets handled. Okay, I've got to move. If I had to, I could do this without you having to pay the cost of actually building and maintaining that thing to displace the fear. And like tricking the fear. This is what I wish somebody had told me so long ago. The fear doesn't need you to build a lifeboat. It just needs you to know that there's a lifeboat that's out there, or we could build the lifeboat if we needed to. And there's one more thing that makes all of this real instead of theoretical, and it's the difference between a plan that actually calms you and a plan that you forget you ever made. Write it down where you'll see it. The tripwire and the response can't live in your head. The head is where fear lives, and it's exactly where they will get lost, and fear will just take it over. Put your tripwire, your metric that you're tracking on a paper that you can actually look at. The whole point is to get the decision out of your nervous system and onto paper because paper doesn't stay awake at night. It doesn't keep you up. And you could do the same essentially with your shelved options. Put them on a shelf. Create a little binder, a short list, 2 or 3 things that you could do if you had to. You're not building them. They're just build ready, researched, vetted, really well thought about. And glance at it every once in a while to make sure it's still real. It's still an option. The world hasn't changed. The market hasn't changed. That's your insurance policy. And like any insurance, the value's hopefully never using it, but it's knowing it's there if you need it. No one has car insurance hoping to cash in on all those premiums that we paid because it means you probably got hurt. But we have insurance just in case something happens. And that's what we've done here. Pulling this all together, here's where we've landed. You're never going to argue yourself out of fear. You're never going to zen yourself out of fear. I've tried it for years. It doesn't work. The fear is it isn't irrational. It's just unemployed. It doesn't have a purpose other than to keep you on edge. So put it to work. Give it a number to watch and a decision to hold. Give it a shelf to put options onto. And then the part that took me so long to figure out, let it go quiet. Because the fear's job is being done by something other than your stomach at 3 a.m. Fear with a tripwire protects you. Fear without one is just something that's billing you. It's living rent-free inside your head. Same fear. The only difference is whether you give it a job or whether you're working for it. In the next episode, we will hit the other half of this because a plan on paper won't quiet the fear if you never let it see how the story actually turned out. And I'll show you how to make it look good. Now, go build a farm business, not just a farm. I'm Diego, Diego. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a comment, hit subscribe. All those things help get this video out there to more people that it can hopefully help. And thanks for watching. As always, be nice, be thankful, and do the work.